classes got involved with New Orleans style houses. They want us to do a cross curriculum as much as we can. So with art, I involved the history of New Orleans, the architecture of New Orleans, the styles, and of course I involved that with the art. I have a book that has all New Orleans style houses. I had them look through the book and select the house that they would like to do. We called it trash art because we got all of the materials out of the trash. We had boxes, candy boxes, chip boxes, boxes that we got just out of dumpsters from around the school, paper boxes, anything. And that's what we actually built on with the help of glue, a lot of masking tape, and hot glue guns, and that's how we started. I started it with one class, an Art 1 class, and 2 other classes saw me doing it, and they would say, well, why are you doing it with them? Why can't we do it? So I said, okay. So I ended up doing it with all of the classes. And after I did it last semester with the Art 1s, I had an Art 2 class that I had before, so I knew the quality of the work that the kids would do, and they were very easy kids to work with.
I chose the French Market because it's a known thing in Louisiana, and I just loved going there. I went there once, I actually just went there recently for the first time, and I really loved it. I just love seeing all the different stands, all the food, all the fruit, and everything there. It was very fascinating. And so I decided to take it and then make it like the old theme, so I made it like gray and black for old, added rocks and some colorful things on the inside for the fruit. I was hoping out of it all, I was hoping that the rocks would stand out to give it like an oldie feature to it.
It's a Greek temple. It was first in Louisiana in 1830. You can find it in the city park. There's one just like it. It's made out of cardboard and PVC pipe and a lot of glue. It was difficult. It was like fun to make and stuff.
I made a Creole cottage because it looked challenging, and I like the way it looked. And I see it all over the city. I think it turned out great. It was pretty challenging to do. Just making the Pacific shapes to how it corresponds to the picture. That's basically was the hardest part. And it was a fun experience. I think it turned out good though. It's my work and it showed a reflection of me, so I had to do a pretty good job. I would love to do it again, make another one, but not the same kind, probably a harder one.
We build a Tudor revival house.
We both kind of picked it because, well, I see Tudors a lot and I think they're really pretty, and Heather thought it was challenging enough for us to do because we were the only ones in our class working together, so we needed one that was big enough and challenging enough for 2 of us. I like how they have the wood accent and they're just different. They're not all like one color because they have the wood, which is always like darker.
Well, I liked it because it's something new that I've never done, and I thought it was interesting because last year some people did it too, and I wanted to, and I asked if we could, so we did.
Yeah, and I think it's a good learning process. A lot of people learned about the different type of houses in New Orleans, and I think it was a good idea.
I created the Creole entresol townhouse. I gave it a very New Orleans feel by adding fleur-de-lis and a lot of tans and blacks. I loved it because we got to experience how they built the houses and put them in to give it a feel of a Louisiana home. It made me think about what career I wanted to do as I grow older and progress.
I did a Spanish colonial plantation house. Because I chose it mostly because I was thinking of putting lights in the house, so I chose a house that had exposed rafters and joists. I used wood, hot glue, cardboard, and LEDs for lights, wire so that I can solder it all together. What I liked was that this project, it's mostly where people can come together and help each other out too while working on their own. It's a good time. We all had a good time.
I did a Greek revival raised American cottage. I went off picking of what I thought my own skill level would be. I didn't want something too complicated, but at the same time I didn't want to go too easy. I thought it was fun. At first it sounded like it was going to be really easy, but once you actually start building the house, it gets difficult. But it was really fun to experience how 3D building can be, and I enjoyed it.
They picked all of the harder houses to do. The art ones and the classes went with the shotgun houses, which are the easiest. But this particular class went with all of the more difficult ones, and so I was very proud of them and what they accomplished. Each one of them brought their personality, and they had the choice. They could pick whatever house they wanted. But I was really thrilled with this particular Art 2 class because they went with the harder houses, and that was not my doing. They went the extra yard, and that's what was so good.